Life is a vast, silent board game. Every day you move through decisions, relationships, opportunities, and conflicts that unfold like hidden pieces shifting across the table. Most people play without ever noticing the rules shaping their lives. They rush, react, and repeat patterns that keep them trapped in the same cycle. But there is a simple strategy, so subtle, so powerful, that instantly places you ahead of 99% of people. It doesn't require luck, genius, or force. It only requires a different way of thinking. Today we explore how a principle from game theory can transform the way you navigate the world, revealing an advantage most never see. Game theory began as a mathematical attempt to understand competition, cooperation, and decision-making. Economists, psychologists, and strategists were fascinated by the patterns hidden beneath human behavior. But over time, something became clear. Game theory wasn't just about numbers on paper. It was about life itself. Every choice you make, every interaction you have, every conflict you enter, these are all moves in an invisible game you're playing, whether you realize it or not. Most people never realize they're players. They believe life is random, chaotic, unpredictable. They think things just happen. But nothing just happens. Life responds to patterns. It responds to intention. It responds to the strategy you bring into every moment, consciously or unconsciously. Imagine two people walking through the same world. One reacts to everything, loud, impulsive, easily triggered. The other observes, reflects, and chooses deliberately. They live in the same reality, but they are playing different games. And the outcomes they experience could not be more different. The majority of people, what game theory would call short-term players, are trapped in immediate reactions. They choose the option that feels good now, not the one that builds advantage over time. They fight small battles. They try to win every argument. They chase instant gratification. They play to feel like they're winning, even when they're losing the larger war. They are locked into the micro moments of life, unable to zoom out, unable to see the bigger pattern unfolding. This is why they lose. In game theory, there is a powerful distinction between one-shot games and repeated games. A one-shot game happens only once. You make a choice, get a result, and it ends. But repeated games, games that happen again and again, require different thinking. You don't play to win now. You play to create a pattern of wins that accumulate across time. And this is where life aligns perfectly with game theory. Life is not a one-shot game. Life is a repeated game. Every conversation with someone close to you is part of a long game. Every financial decision builds on the last. Every habit compounds into your future self. Every reaction shapes your reputation. Every choice sets the stage for the next one. But 99% of people live as if everything is a one-shot moment. Isolated, disconnected, self-contained. They respond emotionally, not strategically. They make decisions for the next hour, not the next year. They focus on appearing right instead of creating lasting advantage. You've probably seen this everywhere. Someone explodes in anger to feel powerful for 5 seconds, then faces the consequences for years. Someone spends impulsively to feel pleasure in the moment, then struggles financially for decades. Someone tries to win a debate with a friend or partner, then damages the trust that makes cooperation possible. These are people playing the wrong game. The invisible truth is that the most important benefits in life come from long-term thinking, reputation, and consistency, the cornerstones of repeated games. When you understand this, the entire landscape of life changes. You stop fighting every small battle. You stop reacting to every emotion. You stop chasing quick wins. Instead, you start choosing moves that stack in your favor over time. You begin to notice patterns. You begin to recognize cycles. You begin to see how your actions echo forward. You begin to understand that every move is a message to the future. This is the birthplace of strategic living. And once you shift your perspective from short-term to long-term, from one-shot to repeated, you suddenly step into the 1% who play life differently. You play calmly. You play consciously. You play with awareness of how every small action shapes the larger game. This isn't just intelligence, it's awakening. It's stepping out of the unconscious reactive mode that traps most people, and stepping into deliberate action. Once you see the invisible game, you can never unsee it. And from that moment on, life stops being random and starts making sense. In the vast landscape of game theory, one strategy stands out as strangely elegant. It is not complex. It is not advanced. It doesn't require deep intelligence or years of study. In fact, it's almost shockingly simple, so simple that many dismiss it at first glance. Yet it repeatedly outperforms incredibly complicated strategies in simulations, psychological tests, and real-life interactions. This strategy is known as tit for tat, and its power lies not in aggressiveness, dominance, or manipulation, but in balance. It is the perfect combination of cooperation, boundaries, and emotional control, the exact combination most people fail to maintain. The rule is almost childlike in its simplicity. Begin by cooperating, then repeat whatever the other person does. If they cooperate, you continue to cooperate. If they attack you, you defend, proportionally. If they return to cooperation, you reset and cooperate again. That's it. No revenge spirals, no escalation, no ego battles. Just clean reciprocity. Why does such a minimalistic strategy outperform almost every other? Because most people are trapped in emotional extremes. They either give too much or retaliate too aggressively. They either try to be overly kind or overly defensive. They struggle to maintain the middle path. Tit for tat is the middle path. It is fair without being naive. It is strong without being cruel. It is open-hearted without being vulnerable to exploitation. And that balance creates enormous power. To understand why this strategy works so well, imagine the alternative. Someone constantly trying to outsmart others, using manipulation, deception, or force. These strategies can work, but only in the short term. In the repeated game of life, they collapse. People catch on, trust breaks, reputation dissolves, isolation begins. Now imagine someone who is endlessly forgiving, endlessly patient, endlessly giving. They become a magnet for exploitation. People take from them, push their boundaries, use their softness. They lose not because they are weak, but because they refuse to respond proportionally. Tit for tat avoids both traps. It rewards good behavior. It discourages bad behavior. It repairs relationships quickly. It creates stability in environments filled with chaos. But there is a deeper psychological reason for its power. Humans mirror each other. When you start with cooperation, most people soften. They relax. They see no need to compete. But when someone acts with hostility, and you respond calmly, but firmly, they are confronted with their own behavior. You are not escalating. You are not collapsing. You are simply reflecting. This neutral reflection dissolves conflict. It signals fairness, and fairness is a language every human understands, even subconsciously. Tit for tat also creates something that few strategies can: predictability. People know exactly where they stand with you. They understand the rules of engagement. They learn quickly that cooperation with you is rewarded and aggression is not worth the effort. Over time, this builds respect, and respect is a currency far more valuable than fear. In fact, entire communities, businesses, and long-term relationships thrive when this principle is present. It reduces misunderstandings. It eliminates unnecessary wars. It creates a steady rhythm of give and take that reinforces connection. But perhaps the most beautiful part of this strategy is its forgiveness. The moment the other person returns to cooperation, you reset. You do not hold grudges. You do not punish endlessly. You do not cling to past offenses. You return to harmony. This element, this ability to reset, makes tit for tat not just a strategy but a philosophy. It is the recognition that humans are imperfect. People make mistakes. Emotions fluctuate. Patterns break and then rebuild. When you allow relationships to reset, you create space for growth. You allow the long-term cooperation that creates stability and deep trust. If you look closely, you will see that the world is full of people who never learned this balance. They punish endlessly. They escalate conflicts until there is nothing left to salvage. Or they allow themselves to be taken advantage of for years, believing kindness means surrender. Tit for tat teaches something different. Kindness without blindness, strength without cruelty, boundaries without bitterness. This is why it beats 99% of people. Not because it is clever, but because it restores balance in a world where balance is rare. And once you begin practicing it consciously, for the first time in your life, you stop reacting to chaos and start shaping the game itself. If you've ever felt like you're trying, but somehow still falling behind, if you've ever wondered why some people seem to glide through life while others push, struggle, and grind just to stay in place, then you're about to discover the silent mechanism behind it all. Because at the core of game theory lies a brutal truth. Most people aren't losing because they're incapable. They're losing because they're playing the wrong game. Let's pause for a moment. Think of your daily habits, your relationships, your ambitions. Think of every decision you make when no one is watching. Think of the shortcuts, the impulses, the doubts, the emotional reactions. These are not isolated choices. They are moves in a game you're playing whether you realize it or not. The truth is, 99% of people focus on the immediate. They play for now. And game theory shows that the ones who play for now always lose to the ones who play for later. Let me give you an example. Imagine a classic scenario known as the prisoner's dilemma. Two players, two choices: cooperate or defect. Cooperation builds long-term trust and long-term gains. Defection gives you a short-term win, but destroys the game moving forward. Most people defect, not because they are evil, but because they are impulsive, because they're impatient, because the brain is wired to crave the fastest reward, even if it costs everything tomorrow. You see this everywhere. People choose the dopamine hit instead of discipline. They choose comfort instead of growth. They choose what feels good instead of what works. And because of that, life becomes a cycle of chasing shortcuts and paying interest on the consequences. But here's what the top 1% do differently. They play the long game. While everyone else asks, "How can I win today?" they ask, "How can I win every day after today?" This single shift, from short-term to long-term, is the quiet separator between those who drift through life and those who seem to move with precision, clarity, and momentum. Now here is the part most people never figure out. Winning in life is not about being the smartest, strongest, or luckiest. It's about consistently choosing the move that strengthens your position over time, not the move that feels easiest right now. Game theory proves this mathematically, history proves it socially, and psychology proves it emotionally. People sabotage their future the way players sabotage winning strategies, not out of stupidity, but out of fear. Fear of missing out, fear of discomfort, fear of looking slow while others look fast. But here's the secret. Progress looks slow until suddenly it looks untouchable. The top 1% understand this. They're not trying to beat you today. They're setting up the board so you can't touch them tomorrow. Now, imagine applying this to your life. Your finances, your goals, your relationships, your habits. Imagine structuring your daily choices like moves in a strategic game, where each one builds advantage, reputation, opportunity, and momentum. Because you're not competing with the world, you're competing with your own default behaviors. And if you don't take control of them, game theory has bad news. They will control you. This is why 99% of people lose. Not because the world is unfair, but because their strategy is reactive, emotional, chaotic, and short-sighted. But if you shift the way you play, if you learn the mechanics of the long game, then you don't just outsmart 99% of people. You make the game unwinnable for anyone who isn't playing with the same depth. And that shifts everything, because when you realize life is not a battle, but a series of strategic decisions, you stop asking, "Why am I not further ahead?" and start asking, "What move gets me closer to who I want to become?" And that is where the game truly begins. Most people think winning is about talent, about intelligence, about luck, opportunity, or privilege. But game theory reveals a far stranger truth. The strongest player is not the one with the best move, but the one who makes the best move consistently. The world is full of people who are brilliant once, disciplined once, motivated once. But consistency, that is rare. Because consistency requires something deeper than skill. It requires identity. Let me explain. There is a concept in game theory called the iterated game. It's not one decision, but a chain of decisions, a sequence, a pattern, a rhythm you create with your own behavior. And in iterated games, there is one strategy that almost always wins. It's not flashy, it's not aggressive, it's not complicated. It's shockingly simple. It's called tit for tat, a strategy that follows 3 quiet rules. Start by cooperating. Mirror the other player's last move. Return to cooperation the moment they do. That's it. But why does such a simple approach outperform nearly every complex, over-engineered strategy? Because it combines the 3 pillars of strategic dominance: clarity, predictability, consequence. When you start with cooperation, you build trust. When you mirror behavior, you eliminate chaos. And when you return to cooperation instantly, you prove that you value the long game over revenge. It's the perfect balance. Immediate feedback, but endless forgiveness. Strength without aggression. Softness without weakness. And here's the part most people never apply to their own lives. You can run this strategy on yourself. Think about it. You say you want to wake up early. You say you want to work out. You say you want to build that business, save that money, improve that skill. But every day there is another version of you, your emotional self, negotiating against your rational self. You are playing an iterated game with your own mind. And the reason you lose isn't because you lack discipline. It's because you're using the wrong strategy. People punish themselves too harshly for failure, and strangely, that makes them fail even more. Or they forgive themselves too easily, and that removes all consequences. Both lead to chaos. But tit for tat shows a third way. Hold yourself accountable immediately, but forgive yourself instantly once you return to the right behavior. Not dramatic, not emotional, not self-destructive, just consistent. That's how you build momentum. Not by being perfect, but by never letting an off day become an off week. By never letting a mistake become an identity. By never letting a misstep break the rhythm. Because in an iterated game, rhythm is power. Here's another insight. The world constantly lures you into playing one-move games. Quick wins, quick purchases, quick dopamine, quick comfort, quick shortcuts. But every quick win costs you a long-term advantage. Every impulsive decision comes with an invisible price. Every moment you choose ease over growth, you sacrifice your position in the larger game. But the players who dominate, the ones who build incredible lives, never play for a single move. They play for the pattern. They don't care about looking fast today. They care about being unstoppable tomorrow. And once you adopt this mindset, you become very difficult to beat. Because most people try to outwork you, but they burn out. Most people try to outsmart you, but their strategies collapse under pressure. Most people try to compete emotionally, but emotions are unstable. But when you are consistent, calm, strategic, patient, you're not playing the same game as anyone else. You're following a system the top 1% already understand. In the long game, the most consistent player always wins. Not the loudest, not the fastest, not the strongest. Just the one who can sustain strategic behavior longer than anyone else. So ask yourself, what would happen if, for the next year, you played the long game with your habits, with your money, with your health, with your mind, with your relationships? What would your life look like if every move built an advantage? Because when you master consistency through game theory, you are no longer trying to win. You are becoming the kind of person who cannot lose. There is a moment, usually quiet, almost invisible, when you realize something profound. You were never playing the game you thought you were playing, because life is not a race, not a competition, not a battle for status, speed, or recognition. Life is an iterated game, one where your opponent is almost always the same, your past self. Think about that for a moment. Not the version of you show the world, but the version operating in the background, the one who reacts instead of plans, the one who seeks comfort instead of growth, the one who repeats patterns because they feel familiar, the one who makes decisions out of fear instead of clarity. Every day, that version of you makes moves that shape your future, moves that either build advantage or accumulate consequences. People believe the world is holding them back. They think competition is the problem. They think circumstances are the barrier. But game theory teaches something different. The biggest opponent you face is the version of you who refuses to evolve. So let's uncover the structure of the hidden game. There are only 3 types of players. Reactors, the 99%. They move only when pushed. They chase feelings instead of strategies. Their lives are governed by emotion, impulse, and habit. Calculators, the 1%. They observe the board. They plan several moves ahead. They avoid unnecessary risks. They create systems instead of relying on motivation. Designers, less than 0.1%. They do not react to the board, they build the board, they identify leverage. They structure their environment so winning becomes the default. The question isn't which one you want to be. The question is which one you're currently acting as. Because your identity is not who you think you are. Your identity is the pattern of choices you make when no one is watching. Let's go deeper. In game theory, there's a concept called the shadow strategy. It refers to the hidden algorithm running your decisions, a silent blueprint formed through past experiences, fears, and internal narratives. This shadow strategy influences everything: how you respond to failure, how you handle stress, how you treat opportunities, how you sabotage or support your own progress. And if you don't bring this strategy into the light, you'll live the same year over and over believing you're changing when you're only looping. Here's the truth. You are not stuck. You are repeating. Repeating emotional patterns, repeating financial habits, repeating relationship dynamics, repeating the same mental games, expecting different outcomes. But once you reveal the shadow strategy, you can upgrade it, you can rewrite it, replace it, redesign it. That is the moment you move from reactor to calculator, and eventually to designer. And here's where the real shift begins. Most people try to change their lives through intensity. Big plans, big goals, big declarations. But designers don't rely on intensity. They rely on environmental engineering. They create structures that make good decisions automatic and bad decisions inconvenient. They remove temptation, add friction to distractions, build routines that stabilize their mind, and create systems that operate even when motivation disappears. They know something the 99% haven't realized. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems are built like strategies, one small move at a time. This is the essence of the hidden game. You don't need to overpower your past self. You need to out-strategize them, not through force, not through drama, but through structure. Because the strongest players are not driven by intensity. They are driven by inevitability. They build a life where progress is the default outcome, where discipline is baked into the architecture, where momentum compounds without effort. Once you understand this, once you see the hidden game for what it truly is, you stop hoping for change and start engineering it, and you realize something most people never see. Winning is not something you do. Winning is something you become. In the end, game theory reveals a truth most people never grasp. You don't win by outworking others. You win by out-strategizing yourself. Life isn't a single move. It's an unfolding sequence shaped by the quiet choices you make every day. When you choose consistency over impulse, structure over chaos, and the long game over the quick win, you rise above the 99% without ever competing with them. If this video opened your mind, subscribe and join us. And remember, The game is always being played, but only a few learn how to win it.